Hey y'all, what is going on? Fly here and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I have some very exciting news, at least for me to tell you guys. I don't know if you guys have been living under a rock or not, but the Panzer VIII MAUS is coming. If you guys don't know what the MAUS is, it was a German World War II super heavy tank. Alright, so how we're going to break this video down is that we're going to start with the history of this tank. We'll move on to the armor of this tank, then the armament of this tank, and then the effectiveness this tank could have had in the battlefield. Okay, so let's start off with the history. So the main reason for the MAUS to be created, or the Panzer VIII, was for old ideas. And it's really confusing to me because Hitler, or the German army of World War II, was so entwined into blitzkrieg, fast movement, rapid takeover of land, and then Hitler, initiates and keeps approving this idea for development and production. The MAUS was not a fast tank, as you guys are finding out. 188 tons compared to like the Panzer II, Panzer Is, Panzer IIIs that took over Poland and such. It's a very weird development of different strategies when the faster mobile tanks worked really well in the beginning, and now he's leaning towards these heavy, expensive, valuable tanks. And I'll give you two reasons why this tank made it so far into production, because any right-minded commander back in the day, even back then, would know this tank is useless, especially with air power increasing effectiveness every month. And this is what kind of boggles my mind. The Germans had the Panzerfaust and the Panzerschreck, sorry if I mispronounced those words, but these were very, very effective close-range anti-tank weapons. I believe the Panzerfaust was a heat round or high explosive, and the Panzerschreck was a shaped charge that could penetrate many hundreds of millimeters, maybe 190, maybe 200 millimeters, but still, that's enough to take out the MAUS. And it boggles my mind that they would put so much work into a tank that requires so much time to build, so much manpower, and so much money to build, when a single cheap disposable Panzerfaust could potentially take it out or immobilize it. Alright, so now back on track with the two reasons why this tank made it so far into production. First, during the final stages of the war, Nazi Germany started to embody the idea of creating heavy breakthrough tanks. The idea of creating such tanks was looked into by the USSR with such creations as the SMK and T-35. AKA, they were getting desperate. Second reason, now this one is my opinion. I mean, a lot of this video is my opinion, but this one is strictly my opinion. I think a lot of Hitler's ego went into this tank. There's a story of when Hitler came to review the wooden mock-up of the MAUS. Hitler said that the 128mm gun looked like a toy gun and insisted that instead of the 128, they replace it with a 150mm. So this just goes to show you, even though the 128mm has more than enough power to clean up the battlefield, Hitler just wants this tank to look as badass as possible with the 150mm. Alright, time for specifications. We're going to start out with the armor first. We are looking at some serious numbers, so get ready for an earful of millimeters. So let's start off with the turret armor. We're looking at 460 millimeters of armor. Oh my gosh. The mantlet, which is 250 millimeters. The turret front, 240 millimeters. The turret side and rear, 220 millimeters. The turret front behind mantlet is 210 millimeters. And now this one's a scary one. 200 millimeters at 55 degrees gives the upper glacis 349 millimeters of protection estimated. Last but not least, the hull sides in the rear clocked in at 190 millimeters. So don't worry, MAUS drivers, the annoying M41 Bulldog Sabo round will not be able to penetrate you. Win. Alright, so now on to the armament of the MAUS. We're looking at, as said before, the 128mm. This is the same gun used on the Jagdtiger in War Thunder right now. It holds 32 rounds, and so that's pretty cool. But what really caught my eye is that, like in a regular tank, it has a main armament of like 75mm, and its second armament is like a 50 cal or something. Well, the MAUS has a second armament of a 75mm coaxial gun. This coaxial gun has 200 rounds, and then on top of that, it has a 7.92 MG34 machine gun for personal defense. So this tank is armed to the teeth with killing potential, but if this thing gets penetrated with 32 128mm rounds and then 75 200mm rounds fully loaded, the MAUS is going to blow up. Let me just tell you that. So just a little more specifications and I'll discuss how I think this tank will be used in War Thunder, as well as end with a ridiculously fun fact. Okay, so this tank weighs in at 188 tons. So to put it in perspective, like I can't even wrap my head around this. The MAUS weighs more than a Boeing 777-300 ER series empty weight. It's just nuts. The MAUS is also powered at the time by Germany's largest displacement inverted V12 aircraft engine. And even though it was the largest and inverted in displacement, the MAUS topped off at 8.1 miles an hour or 13 kilometers per hour. Alright, so real quick, we're gonna wrap this video up. I'm gonna talk about how this tank will be used in War Thunder, then wrap it up with the fun fact. So in War Thunder, I believe this will be a slow, hard-hitting, non-maneuverable beast. What I mean by this is that if you let the MAUS get into position, you're screwed. But with teamwork and using your tank's advantage, aka speed, this tank shouldn't be a problem if it's not supported by its own team. So just a question before the fun fact. Do you guys think having the MAUS in game is a good idea or not? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, now to the fun fact. This is quoted from Wikipedia. The MAUS was too heavy to cross bridges. As a result, an alternative system was developed where the MAUS would instead ford the rivers it needed to cross. Due to its size, it could ford relatively deep streams, but for deeper ones, it was to submerge and drive across the river bottom. The solution required tanks to be paired up. One MAUS would supply electric power to the crossing vehicle via a cable unit until it reached the other side. The crew would receive air through a large snorkel, which was long enough for the tank to go 45 feet underwater, or 13 meters. Like, it's just great. It's just great. It says, oh man, we can't go on damn railroads and roads. Fuck it, we'll just go under the water with the tank. Alright guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about the MAUS and what's being added to War Thunder. And until next time guys, peace out.